the vitriol. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they have like a neat glowing effect to the flasks.
Yeah.
I was into it as well.
They could have been really lazy with it, and I actually appreciate that they weren't.
It especially stands out how the movie is so not fantastical. This is pre-Game of Thrones, but it is kind of doing that Game of Thrones look, which is very desaturated and serious and cold. So then you have these magical flasks they whip out every once in a while. You're like, oh yeah, sweet. That's like some real colorful fantasy shit.
I did list some movies that are dragon themed that came out before, one of which we've watched, others that we will watch.
Okay.
In 2006, Aragon was released.
Much better film.
D-War was dropped in 2007. Fire and Ice was dropped in 2008. And Dragon Hunter was dropped in 2009.
The people had dragon fever.
What the article that I was reading, it was Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson changed fantasy. And
Watch this guy glance over at the Lord of the Lash. Like, do I? That was a while ago.
where there's a whip, there's a way. But even if you talk to our dads, like, yeah, they love fantasy, but it wasn't like something that they openly would go around talking about. It was like almost taboo to enjoy fantasy.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing in Stranger Things. They're getting picked on because they're nerdy kids playing D&D in the 80s.
Yeah.
You don't do it.
And I think Lord of the Rings really just kicked down that barrier, and then it was like, okay, it's acceptable to like fantasy stuff now. And Game of Thrones solidified that, where it's like, no, not only can you like it, but it can take over the media.
You can base your whole personality on it if you want.
You could make a podcast about it.
I see what you're saying, because that is one of those that's like, why does this exist? Who's this for? What's going on here? And it makes sense that even 11 years on, there's still a fantasy boom going on for sure.
Yeah.
And I would say still raging stronger than ever.
Yeah.